off 5 for 5 from 3, and even Kevin Porter Jr. said after the game that it felt like he needed to get out of his way because my man was eating. However, what I loved the most was the fact that Jalen never took an absurd heat check shot. Usually when a player is cooking from deep, they either take a really long 3 or a more difficult 3 as a so-called heat check. If they make it, then the crowd would go freaking crazy, but if they miss, then they kind of come back down to earth. Instead, Jalen stayed within himself and let the game come to him. As a result, he stayed on fire by taking highly efficient shots and ended up being 8 for 10 from downtown, which in turn broke the Houston Rockets rookie record of 7 threes. With how hot he can get from downtown, the NBA rookie record for threes, which is 9, is going to be in jeopardy all season. The 30-point game is super impressive, but pair that up with the fact that he took 0 free throws and it becomes jaw-dropping. That is partly the ref's fault for not calling obvious fouls. He also tied Michael Jordan in becoming the fastest rookie to get to a 30-point game, which was 3 games. So be prepared for some more MJ comparisons. Outside of his shooting, he displayed some razzle-dazzle with a few of his passes. He definitely has the potential to be a solid playmaker, but more importantly, use his scoring to become a playmaker for others. There were times when Devin Booker and Jimmy Butler had to undertake the playmaking role for their team and ended up having more than 10 assists in some nights, especially in the playoffs. Although I doubt he could do this every single game like those 2 other players, he could do it when there is a need, and he can do it when he needs to step up as a playmaker. I also need to give praise to his defense. Yes, he still got bullied, and yes, he was not particularly amazing on that end of the floor, but he did make some plays that gets your hopes up for the future. He recorded 2 blocks and 1 steal, but slowly and surely, it is showing that the game is getting slower for him and he is making plays because of it. Now that I am done gushing about Jalen Green, let's talk about the game as a whole. Our defense was better than our first game, but still left more to be desired, especially against a team that was lacking one of their all-star players. Once again, turnovers and transitions off of rebounds were the doom for this team, as it allowed the Celtics to get easy transition buckets and go without our defense setting up their half-court style. When they did go in their half-court offense, they abused the mismatches they generated through picks, whether it was Tatum, who was incredible in this game, Al Horford, or even Dennis Schroeder. He fumbled the bag, but he was not fumbling the mismatches. Speaking of turnovers, Kevin Porter Jr. once again was the culprit of nearly half of the team's turnovers. However, unlike the first game, this game he was just very casual with the ball, and Marcus Smart took advantage of that, causing some disruption. There was also that play on the fast break that riled up some Rockets fans, where it went off the fingertips of Wood. That pass showcases what KPJ needs to work on, which is when to make the pass and what type of pass to make in that situation. He could have just as easily used a bounce pass or a simple lob, which would have connected easier, or he could have passed it earlier, letting Wood take a dribble and then dunk or layup. Either way, many of his turnovers can be fixed with a film review session and should not be a massive problem moving forward. I was a little bit disappointed that he took the frustration foul at the end just so he could sit it out. It might just be me, but it left a bad taste in my mouth, but hopefully that frustration leads to better outings. He did tweet, "I'll be better. Hate me then as well, haha, Joker card emoji." Outside of KPJ, Wood was decent. 20 points, 9 rebounds on a significantly inefficient night, but he did hit 8 of 10 free throws, so I can't really complain. There were times when he just put up wild shots on the chance that he would get foul calls, and believe me, there were times when he just got smacked, but the refs are being their typical self and did not call any fouls. Şengün once again stuffed the stat sheet. He recorded 7 points, 4 rebounds, 3 steals, and 1 block. I'm going to keep saying that he should be the starter at center. Not only is his chemistry with Christian Wood better, but he is better than Theis at his selling point, which is defense. The only thing that Theis can do that Şengün cannot is shoot mid-ranges and threes. However, I think the fact that Theis can shoot is going to be the big reason why he continues to start, especially moving forward. This time around, our bench was very mediocre, especially our heavy hitter in Eric Gordon. If Gordon had a similar game to those he started off with, we definitely should have won this game. His offensive presence was sorely missed, and no one else stepped up to replace his bench scoring. I know it has been 3 games, but I'm completely out on Daniel House. He just fails to contribute anywhere in any facet of the game when he's on the court. Would it be great if he could make a few threes here and there? Sure, but I still need him to play good defense and be a hustle player at the very least. He cannot be a liability when he is on the court. However, he is failing to do even that. At some point, his value is just not going to increase, and it would be more beneficial to bench him for a younger, hungrier player like KJ Martin, who honestly deserves more minutes. Our next opponent is the Dallas Mavericks. Should be an interesting game considering we are once again going against a superstar in Luka. Seeing how we play against them will be pretty interesting. They have been surprisingly sound on defense and are great at generating turnovers, but if last year is any indication, the Rockets' offense should have a field day at the very least. I expect Jalen Green to have a solid game and KPJ to bounce back once again. I'll be pumped to see Christian Wood duke it out with Kristaps Porzingis, also known as Tingus Pingus, and it should be altogether a very entertaining match.